to who had the worst weekend in the world of sports. And that man is LeBron James. I mean, you talk about a diaper fire of a weekend for LeBron James. This was it. All right, now, I'm not even going to say that this is based only on the fact that the Lakers lost game ones to the Phoenix Suns. It felt like they didn't play all that well. Anthony Davis was kind of all over the place as he's been from time to time this season. There was an altercation. You had Chris Paul who banged up shoulder. We'll see what happens in game 2. LeBron had his shoulder tweaked a little bit. Like all of that, like. That was bad. Losing that game 1, that was bad, but it's a long series. They've got 2 of the best players in the world, and you would figure they're going to make this a much more competitive series. Phoenix was playing on emotion. They were more rested, and they were really fired up by that fan base. So it's not even because of that. And it's not even mostly because of the fact that, LeBron James broke NBA protocols and, was out at some, slinging some crummy tequila at a party last week. All right, the pictures are out, and the NBA got after him a little bit and said, he violated protocol. So that added on to the fact that, LeBron James lost game 1 of his series. But it's also the fact that when you come out weeks ago and you tell everybody that whoever came up with the play-in tournament idea should be fired, when you go that route, and then after the play-in tournament is done, and overwhelmingly everybody calls it a smashing success. Everybody says it's here to stay. Everybody loves the fact that we got the NBA playoffs and we got a 1-game playoff to get in to the NBA playoffs and be a part of the field. When it's an overwhelming success, just weeks after you come out and say, whoever came up with the idea should be fired, I got to be honest with you. I don't know that anybody had a worse weekend. I really don't. I don't know that anybody had a worse weekend in the world of sports than LeBron James. I mean, you come out, you call your shot, you're calling for jobs. Never mind the fact that, we're just coming out of a pandemic. Unemployment rates were sky high. People are struggling out there financially to this day. Gas prices are at like $9 a gallon, depending on where you're at. I know out here in Southern California, it's very bizarre. There's videos circulating in the South of people siphoning gas and putting them in Ziploc bags just to have a little bit extra. Very weird stuff's happening here. People are beginning to lose their minds a little bit again before we even get to the month of June. All right, so there's a lot that's happening, a lot that's going on. So I'm just, when you're calling for jobs because somebody had an idea that ends up being a smashing success, an overwhelming success, and then you parlay that into violating protocols set forth by the NBA because you were slinging some crummy tequila at a party before your play-in tournament, and then you follow that up by crapping your pants in game 1 against the Phoenix Suns. I'm just saying, feels like LeBron James had a rough week. All right, it feels like he had a rough weekend, and it feels like LeBron James had the worst weekend in the world of sports. I think it's fair to say. I don't even know who another participant would be. I don't know who another contestant would be to be able to throw into the mix. But LeBron James, a rough weekend, no doubt about it. Easily the worst weekend of anybody in the world of sports in my mind. Now, earlier in the show, myself and Danny G, we went through every single series because one of the things that you're hearing from people who maybe are in a little bit of denial, if their team lost the first game of the season or the first game of the playoffs, it's just one game. It's just one game. Don't worry about it. It's just one game. We're not going to freak out about it. It's a long series. It is just one game, and there's nothing to worry about here. We've got this right where we want them. It's not an issue to anybody involved. Don't worry about it. We are good here. Everything's good. And so we went through, and I said, all right, well, is it just one game, or is it over? Based on one game. Like, if you watch it and you see game 1 of this series, is it just one game or is it over? Now, I would argue There are some situations where you look at and you go, hey, man, everything's going to be fine. They'll figure it out. No need to panic. No need to freak out. All right. The teams are going to figure it out. I think the Clippers are going to figure it out. I think Miami can figure it out against Milwaukee because Miami matches up well with anybody. I look at their series and I go, it's over. The Celtics and the Nets, I saw one game. I'm good. It's over. It's over. And you knew that going into it. The other team that I think is in trouble is the Los Angeles Lakers. I really do. And this isn't to try and needle anybody that's listening or just waking up on AM 570 LA Sports. This isn't trying to pick a fight with anybody. But I don't know how you watch what you watched yesterday and you think to yourself, nah, got him right where we want him. LeBron James, he spoke after the game, after their loss to Phoenix in Game 1, and he talked about Anthony Davis maybe needing to be a little bit more aggressive, and also what Game 1s are normally like for him.
It's never just one guy, but I love when AD puts that pressure on himself. We're a better team when he's aggressive. We're a better team when he demands the ball. But we all got to do our jobs a lot better as well. It gives me more time to just dissect the team, know what we did wrong in the previous game, especially Game 1. It's always been a fill-out game for me, so I'm looking forward to breaking down the film tonight and then as a team tomorrow and even get some more on the day of the game, I believe, Tuesday, and get ready for that challenge again.
Yeah, I just look, I can remember being in school, and I remember the band that was really, really popular was this band called Green Day. And, I mean, everybody loved them. And from day one, I didn't get it. I just, man, this band sucks. What are we, like, what are you hearing that I don't hear? Like, I don't, what am I missing with this? And I never got it. I've never gotten it, but I can remember specifically being really young and just looking around and seeing how popular they were. And you had all these kids coming to school dressed up like they, just shopped and only shopped at Hot Topic and just walked in and they were all gothed out and doing all their. And I just remember thinking to myself, like, I don't know what you guys are hearing or seeing. I'm sorry. I don't get it. I don't understand it. To this day, never understood it. This entire time, I've been told Lakers are going to be fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Hey, look, when those guys get back and they're healthy, everything's going to be fine. We're all good here. And this entire season, I haven't gotten it. I don't know what people are seeing. I think LeBron James is legitimately banged up. I think this is the most banged up he's ever been heading into the postseason. I think he's legitimately banged up. Anthony Davis, who the hell knows, man? There's stuff with Anthony Davis to where whether it's injuries or maybe he's worried about the injuries, and I don't blame him because it feels like he's going down with an injury all the time or he steps wrong and then he looks like he's a little bit ginger afterwards. Whatever the case may be, it just feels like this ain't the year. And not that it's a bad thing. They're coming off a shortened season, and it's not to make excuses for them, but it was a quick turnaround. You're asking, an older team to try and, find themselves and figure this whole thing out, and then they go down with the injuries and all that stuff. But I don't think LeBron is healthy. I don't think Anthony Davis is either in the right place physically or mentally, whatever you want to call it. The Drummond move, it feels more and more like Drummond needs to be on the floor less. And when that was a big signing for you and a big pickup in the season, I'm watching the team and I go, yeah, I don't know what people are seeing. Like, this is not the same team that we saw last year. And the fact of the matter is, you're a 7 seed. I know it's not a normal 7 seed. I get all that. And we can point to, well, you had to play in tournament and it was a different year and all that stuff. But we don't see a lot of 7 seeds who, after they lose Game 1 to the better team who's been the better team all series long, the conversation is still, don't even worry about it. Don't worry about it. Everything's going to be fine. We'll figure this whole thing out. I think there's problems. I really do. Now, is it going to turn into LeBron and Anthony Davis just have to take over games? Of course, because I don't know that they have a third option that you look at and go, that guy's going to scare me. Or that. I think this is an issue. I think Phoenix is going to win this series. I think it's done. I think the Lakers are done. You can say, oh, look, you're just freaking out and you're going over the top and you're just – I'm telling you, man, I've felt this way for the longest time. And I can remember doing shows earlier in the season on AM 570 LA Sports, locally here in Los Angeles, Rob Parker and myself doing shows together. And I just remember saying, I keep hearing everything's going to be fine. Don't worry about it. It's just some injuries. They'll be okay. It's like LeBron comes back after a lengthy absence, and he ended up having to miss more time. Anthony Davis, every 2 weeks he was being reevaluated. That seems like it's a problem. And I just think that to go along with a really energetic and fun and hard-playing Suns team who the Chris Paul injury, you've got to figure that stuff out and see where that goes. I don't know, man. If I were a Laker fan, this would be concerning. I don't think this is they lost game one here. They're going to be able to figure this out. I think there's concern, and I think at some point somebody's got to be honest about it and say, maybe this just isn't the team in the right place physically, and maybe this isn't the team in the right place in other areas that's going to make a deep run and repeat as NBA champions. I just don't think it's happening. I really don't. I think there's problems. I think those problems are playing out before our very eyes, and I think they're going to continue to be an issue for the LA Lakers against the Suns this series. And if the Lakers come back and beat the Suns in this series, I'll just make sure we go back and delete this entire segment. All of it's gone. I have that power. I have that authority. All right, I have that authority to be able to erase this entire segment, or I'll just recut it and then insert it into the podcast later. So when you say, what about that thing you said Monday after their first playoff loss? I'll say, what are you talking about? And we'll just use radio magic and some tricks of the trade to make sure I can go back and be proven right. Just saying. And by the way, I'm not going to bury the Clippers because I have the Clippers winning the NBA championship.
Exactly.
So there's that.
And by the way, we heard all of this twice in a row. Last NBA postseason in the bubble.
Okay. Well, listen. Look,
sky is falling. Lakers lost game one.
It's not the sky that's falling. All right. It's not the sky that's falling. And if it is, watch out because LeBron James was seeing 3 of them the other night. So I hope that his vision is cleared. I hope everything is okay. And by violating COVID protocols by the NBA, I mean that's a whole other discussion. I mean you talk about reckless behavior. I mean unbelievable. This guy.
Now do Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, unbelievable. Listen, he's just a quiet guy who goes about his business.
Yeah.
Quiet guy. Just a
great
quiet
leader,
guy
that
who goes
guy.
about his
Business as usual.
Absolutely. Damn right. No drama with him.